Oh no, oh no, there are too many people, I cannot do this, I cannot give my speech, I cannot give my presentation, what should I do? How can you present to large groups, to large audiences? Let's find out. I love presenting to big groups. The bigger, the better. A lot of my workshops, of course, when I work with my clients, they're smaller groups, usually between 8 to 12 people, 14, 16, 18, 20. But in reality, I really love those big groups. A couple of times a year always I present to large groups, and I love it. And what I've discovered through my presentation workshops is that most people, they don't love it. They hate it. They really hate it. So I want to share with you a couple of tips of how you can present so much better to large audiences. Number one, talk like you would to a small group. Yes, like you would to a small group. Big groups are not that different. They're people. They're people. They're just more people, that's all. By the way, how can we define a large audience? I would say 50 people plus. 50, 100, 200, 500, 1,000 or more than that. Yeah, it's getting bigger, but once you mastered 50 or 100, 1,000 is not all that different. In some cases, it's actually easier to persuade a group of 1,000 people than of 100. Yeah, but just keep in mind, the size does not matter. They're just people. So present the same way you would with a few differences. Number two, and this is one of these differences, speak louder even if you have a microphone. Yeah, the microphone is good, don't get me wrong. The microphone will project your voice through the whole room. But larger groups require larger energy. Okay, what for a small group looks like you're looking like a high energy person, looks very regular for a bigger group. So when you're presenting, speaking to a bigger group, you need more energy, even with a microphone. Number three, have large audience eye contact. Now, what do I mean by that? Very simple. When you have the group in front of you, and it depends on the size, but you want to divide the group, by 2 lines. So you see 3 groups basically, one on your left, one in the middle, and one on the right. Yeah, these 3 groups. If the room is longer, if you have 100, 200, 300 people, yeah, you have to make another line. So you basically have 6 boxes, 6 different groups. And then when you have your eye contact with your group, you focus one by one on the center of these boxes. Group number 1, group number 2, group number 3, group number 4, group number 5, group number 6. Okay? That way, when you focus on the center, everybody in that box will feel often like you're looking directly at them. And just so you know, if the audience gets bigger and bigger, you have to make more boxes. Okay, bigger boxes. But I don't recommend having more than 9. Maximum should be 9. Usually 3 or 6 is enough. And then you can spread out your eye contact evenly from group to group, from box to box, basically. Number 4, have large audience gestures. What does it mean? Yeah, when you have a bigger audience, your gestures have to be bigger. Much bigger, way bigger. I still remember when I was in high school, I one time joined the theater group. And I still remember my teacher of the theater group. He would teach us many great things about stage acting, and when we delivered our play to a big audience. So during rehearsal, he would always do the same thing. He would always yell, louder! And he would go to the very back of the room in the seat that was furthest away from the stage. And he would always yell from there, louder, bigger gestures, bigger gestures. I can't see anything. Ben, that looks tiny. That arm must be much bigger. And make it slower as well. Yeah, so in a presentation or a speech, it's the same thing. When you're presenting to a big group, your gestures have to be bigger, much bigger usually, than they normally would. Number 5, make the fonts on your slides big enough. I see it with a lot of presenters who present to smaller groups. Yeah, they're not used to making their fonts larger. Don't get me wrong, in most large audience presentations you will have larger screens, but that's not always the case. So just to be safe, you gotta have bigger fonts. You gotta make sure that everyone in the audience can easily read and easily see what you want to get across. Number 6, involve your audience. Ask questions, get them involved. There is nothing better than a large audience for involving them. Ask for a show of hands, ask for a question, get some ideas from the audience. Small groups are good for that too, of course, if you can do it. But big groups are so much easier because there's so many potential people who could answer your question. And involving a big group, wow, does it have a great impact on your result as a speaker and presenter. Yeah, I know it's a scary thing to do, so watch more of my videos to learn how to do it actually, but it's such a wonderful skill to have, so involve your audience. Number 7, and this is a mistake made by so many people that I see who present the first time especially to a large audience, and it's this: expect 50% more time. Expect that you're going to spend 50% more time than you would during rehearsal. So you have to rehearse your speech, your presentation, of course, in advance, and you have to time yourself. You have to check how much time do I need. And then, strong recommendation, account about at least 30% more, but I rather recommend 50% more time. Now, why is that with a large group? Why is that? I don't know. I cannot give you a 100% answer, but large group tend to slow things down. Yeah, things go slower with large groups. In my workshops too. Yeah, some of my workshops, we sometimes have 40, 50, 60 people. In some cases, team building workshop, 80 people. The biggest I had was about 100. And then they should do exercises and activities like I have a smaller group of 12. It takes so much more time. And even when you're presenting and you're just sharing ideas, no activities at all, it takes more time. Yeah, so let me tell you, you need the extra time. I mean, one big reason for it is you're gonna get more comments, you're gonna get more questions in between. That is natural with a larger audience. So minimum have 30% more time that you count in, or better 50%. So if you have 15 minutes, prepare 10 minutes for your speech, your presentation, and then 5 minutes just in case. At least 3 minutes, just in case you have a little bit extra breathing time. So what is your experience with large audiences? Which of these tips did you find most useful? Comment below one time. Also, if you have any questions for me, write them down there. They might turn into a future video. And if you have not yet, subscribe! Yeah, hit the notification button as well, so you're always up to date with the latest videos. Every week I'm bringing out new videos just for you. Yeah, if you like the video, you can hit like as well, and I really look forward to seeing you for the next video.